guys, it's Trish. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a pair of wire wrapped earrings. I'm going to show you how to hammer them out, do the swirls on them, and wire wrap the beads on them to give you a really beautiful look, as you can tell by the thumbnail. Those are going to be the earrings we're making. I'm going to be using items from my Design Ambassador kit, which is this is for August of 2021. This is the Color Trends Bead Mix in Rose Gold. And I'm going to be using some of these beautiful gold crystal filled roses as well. These are going to be, I'm going to use 2 of these as our center bead on the bottom. Let me get those out. Sorry for the rattling. That shows you that's going to be our little center bead on the bottom, and then we're just going to pick a variety of beads to go on them. You can choose whatever beads you prefer, but we're going to open up the package here, see what's inside, and then make our decision. So let's get going here. And don't forget, guys, you're going to use a lot of our usual suspects as far as tools. I have, you know, flush cutters. I have a step plier from Beading. I have a round nose. I have my tweezer pliers and my chain nose pliers. If you don't have the step pliers from Beading or anyone else, you can use your round nose. I just like the step plier, plier for one of the aspects of this piece, but you can certainly do it with your round nose, make it work. And then I have my oval artistic wire mandrel, a block, and a hammer. I just have some for the base. I'm going to use some 20 gauge German gold wire, and then I'm going to use and this doesn't say, but I'm going to assume this is 26 gauge, and because it looks like it, from Parawire in gold as well. I have some jump rings standing by if I need those, but that's it. So anyway, let's open this up here and see what we have and make our decisions. Now, you wouldn't have to use these hearts for the center, or hearts, those are roses, for the center bead, but you could certainly, you know, use, there's tassels in here. You could use whatever bead that you preferred. There's some beautiful drop crystals in here that would be super pretty. Okay. I mean, these, you could put these on the bottom. There's just some really super pretty beads in this mix. So let's see. We're going to want, let's see, let's do, I'm going to need some smaller ones for up toward the side. So let's go with these. And these up here, I'm not going to need those today. I think I want to incorporate these down toward the bottom. Maybe up one bead from the rose, or from the gold rose. And let's see, let's do these, a couple pearls, and I need a larger bead, so we'll pick those. And, you know, fly by the seat of your pants, guys. That's what I normally do. Yeah, I think that one will wrap better on there. So I need 1, 2. We need 5 smaller beads, which we have 3 at this point, and then 2 on the larger size, which we have here. All right, so I'm just putting these over here because I know I'm going to use those in my other piece. And then we can do, if we can get a rondelle to lay on there right or not. I don't think it would be pretty though. And I think we're just going to do, oops. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. One more, guys. So this needs to go. I need 2 of those there. So we have, let's do some more pearls. Let's do a couple more pearls, guys. Okay, so we have our larger bead, we have 5 smaller beads, and another larger bead, and our rose. So we're going to, actually, I'm going to take this one out because I don't think we're going to need it. I think this will be good at the bottom there. So I just kind of want to lay these out, and I want to see, okay, what pattern do I want to have? So I know I want to spread the beads out that I have so they're not right on top of each other. So these are going to go up toward the top. Then I think I'll put those in the center, and these more toward the bottom, and that kind of like that. So, okay, so let's pick out the beads that we're going to need for our other earring as well, so we can put those to the side. I'm just setting those back, and we need our rose. We need 2 pearls, 2 rondelles, and our rose, and this beautiful crystal. All right, I'm just gonna put these other ones into a bowl, and then that way that if I do decide I want to use other ones, I have them here nearby. Okay, guys, so let's get started. What we're gonna start by doing is taking our 20 gauge wire, if I can get it off of the thing here, and we're gonna start warming up the wire and straightening it out with our hands. You can also use a wire straightener, but keep in mind that does work hard in it. So if you just want to give it like one run with that and then use your hands for the rest. I'm going to take about a 12-inch piece. Actually, that's not the part of the wire that I want. Let's go with this. And I'm going to take a 12-inch piece, approximately. Cut that off. It's probably more than enough, but we're gonna do it. Let me just get my wire put back here so it doesn't unravel completely on me. There it is. So the last thing we want is for our wire to unravel off the spool. That would not be pretty. Okay, so we're just warming and straightening. I'll do a little bit on this end here, just to kind of get that. I probably won't end up using that. I may just, well, no, it seems okay. So we're just warming and straightening and getting it ready to work with it. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our round nose pliers and we're going to make a loop. This is going to be the top. I'm going about halfway back on my round nose pliers, and I'm just rolling my wrist away from me, and that gives you a nice loop there, okay? And then what I like to do here is just kind of crook that back so it's more set in the middle. It's not completely set in the middle, but it gives it a little bit more of an upright anchor position there. So then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start slowly manipulating the wire. So it's kind of curving back naturally before I even start putting it into the mandrel. It's going to help it to accept the mandrel shape much better. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say, about 2 inches from the loop that we made at the top. I'm going to place in at my largest setting on my oval mandrel, my wire, and I'm just going to wrap it around the mandrel here. And I just want it to kind of have an oval shape, and I'm going to kind of cross them a bit, if you can see, so it'll take that oval shape better. All right, and I'm just gonna come in here now that I have that oval shape, and I'm just gonna work it, use my nylon jaw pliers, and just kind of get it to accept that shape a little easier, okay? So we're going to get that nice and shaped up. and that kind of gives you an idea there of what we're going for. And you can make these as big or as small as you want as far as the oval shape goes. But I want to have some room because I want to be able to wrap on our beautiful beads. And I think that's good. So up at the top here, you're going to go up here about an inch past where you have your crossover here, and you're going to snip that wire off, okay? And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to take our step pliers and roll back the other way. So we roll to the right on the top loop, we're going to roll to the left on the outside loop on that side. So we're just going to put it, I'm going to put it here in the third step. I guess that would be the fourth step in or the third step back front toward the front, but you get the idea. You can see here, and you want to put your wire in, but you don't want it overhanging the end of this because you don't want some gnarly wire sticking out. So basically I'm just gonna start by rolling a loop, and this is a loose loop. You don't want to tighten it real tight to the piece because we're going to roll it down a little bit more with our pliers. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, as I remove those pliers, and I left about 1/4 of an inch here so we can have some air in there and have some space, so I can roll this down and just keep it loose looking, because that's what I want it to be. I want it to look like that. I want it to kind of be open and really just a really pretty swirl, okay? So once we have that done, you can see what that looks like. Right now it doesn't look like a whole lot, I guess, but we're gonna hammer it and give it some nice texture on it and get it looking really good. But you can see where that sits too. It's just kind of real close up to the top there, guys, okay? So now we're going to get our hammer before we wrap anything on it, and we're going to work harden and flatten this out a little bit, get it more stiff to be able to receive the be a sturdy frame for us, basically, and to hold the beads up nicely. So basically, here comes the hammering. If you think it's going to bother your ears, mute this part. But basically all we're doing is we're using a chasing hammer, and we're just going to tap the whole piece, and it gives it more of a flat look, and it gives it more strength. Now you want to make sure this is German wire, like I said. So if you are using like a pair wire that has a coating on it, you do not want to do a chasing hammer on that. You don't want to hammer that because it's going to give you all kinds of markings, and it's going to distort your wire. And then once you break through that coating on there, it's going to rust, and you do not want your client's pieces to rust by no means. So we're just working our way up here, and I'm just hammering it nice and flat and giving it strength. Okay. And I think I am going to roll this down just a smidge more, because now as I'm hammering that is spreading your wire, and it makes the wire molecules and such spread out for you. So you can still adjust that and put it into the position that you want it. Okay. Roll it just a little bit more. Okay. Too much. But I'm just tweaking, making my adjustments as I'm working on it, how I like it. And I know I want this to kind of sit more toward the middle. I'm just going to adjust that and go back to hammering. Okay. So we basically have the front done. So let's turn it over and just do a little bit on the back, because you can see it flattens it on the back as well when you're hammering, because I mean, it's against a metal block. So, but you can see that it is much stiffer. It has like a bounce to it now. And so that's what you want. You want to have a nice frame that you can wrap your wire onto, or your beads onto, excuse me. So now I'm going to take our 26 gauge wire. I'm going to take about 30 inches of it. I always take way more than I need, but I'd rather do that than not have enough and have to splice in wire. We're going to start up here at the top, toward the top. I'm coming about 1/2 inch down on our piece, and I'm going to lay my wire across the German, this 26 gauge across the German, you can see there, and I'm going to keep it nice and snug. And you want to make sure and keep this tail here too, guys, because that's going to give you nice leverage to be able to wrap, especially your first few wraps. And I went around the wire, and I'm holding it snug with this hand and with this hand, and I want it to be nice and snug on there because this is going to be our anchor. And I'm going to go around this 3 times. My mic cord's getting in the way, guys, sorry about that. Yeah, we're going to go around 3 times, guys. And as you can see, when I am wrapping this, I am bringing the wire up around the front, and then I'm taking my finger and I'm poking that wire through there instead of taking this end and putting it through, because you have much more chance of getting kinks in your wire if you lead it through with this. If you can at all avoid that, do that, because it will give you a much nicer look, and you will avoid getting kinks. Okay, so basically at this time, I'm just taking my pliers, I'm just snugging that down, I'm making sure I have that in the place that I want it. I'm going to move it up just a smidge, and then I'm going to leave this little tail on for now, guys, while I'm putting my other beads on, because I do want that leverage. So let's pour our beads in. We're going to start with, and I did have these laid out exactly how I wanted them, but you know. And then this is going to be our center. We're going to do a rondelle and a pearl, the larger bead, and then a smaller bead, and the triangle, and our rose. So that gives us, nope, I'm going to need this bead right here, I think. All right, so we'll start by wrapping on our top bead, and I'm just going to take my wire and put the end of that through that rondelle and slide it down my wire. I know it's hard to see what I'm doing in the background here, but we're just going to put that on the outside of the earring like so, and we're going to bring the wire around and poke it through like we did, and we're going to wrap once to anchor, and then one more time, okay, between each bead. Whoops, still pulling that, so be careful. You can hammer it more if it's not stiff enough for you, guys. Keep that in mind. We're getting kind of an odd shape at this point, but we'll work that out once we get everything wrapped. So we have our rondelle on, and then next I'm going to slide on our pearl that we have here, our beautiful pearl. And I'm going to move that more to the inside of the earring, so we have a little bit of flow. Okay, guys. So again, I'm moving that toward the inside. I'm going to push, hold on with my thumb and my forefinger and my left hand, and I'm going to push that wire through. Okay. And I'm going to wrap around once to stabilize and once to secure. Okay. So now what I want to do is I kind of want to put, get this up here and adjusted. I want to put my large bead kind of right here. So I'm going to take my larger bead and slide it on to my 26 gauge wire, as we do. And I kind of want this to be sitting not like way out, but in between those two to stay against the wire. Okay, so as you can see, that's going to give you where you're going to have to wrap over top of part of what you did already. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to give it one wrap to stabilize, one wrap to secure. Okay, And we have our bead there, and again, we can adjust its wire. We can get it where we want it, okay? And then what I want to kind of do is bring my wire around, and I want to give myself some loops here. Just to add some interest, I want to wrap and make a loop there over top of my pearl, and then maybe come down over my, I could even come back through my larger hold bead here, I think. So let's do that. We're gonna wrap that loop, and then I'm gonna wrap around actually, okay? So if you didn't see what I did there, I left this little piece of wire just here just to give this some motion, and then I just wrapped around the base of our larger bead, okay? So that gives you an idea there. Whoop. So then what I want to do here is I want to continue with my smaller beads, and I want to do the other rondelle. And I'm going to secure that on the wire, hold it there, and push the wire through. Wrap once to secure and once to stabilize, or one to stabilize, one to secure, excuse me. And then we're going to, I think I'm going to give myself an outside loop here, so I'm going to go around the outside of my rondelle here, okay? And kind of, I want it snug, but I don't want it crazy snug. Now these are going to be a nice size earring, guys, so hopefully if you want to use less beads and smaller measurements, you feel free to do that, guys, whatever works for you, okay? So I put that little loop around a rondelle there, and then I'm just kind of securing that by wrapping it around. And I'm going to bring this down behind my bead and put it back here where it was and go around one more time, okay? So next we're going to, I think we're going to put our rose next. Oh, I'm liking the way these are turning out, guys. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. Let's put our rose next because we're going to connect that. I want this here on the inside. So see if I got my rondelle. Yeah, let's do our rose. And then we'll do our triangle bead underneath. I guess I got an extra pearl in there, but okay. So we're going to put our rose here, lay it on the inside of the frame. You see how I just have the edge there on the frame, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I want to do once to stabilize and once to secure. And see, there we're at the perfect place because that's right at the bottom. That's right where I want my rose to be hanging from my other rose. So that's perfect. So now I want to put one more bead just out here to give it a little bit more flow. And I'm going to take our triangle and do that. Whoops, if I can get it on my wire. And so then I want to put it out here. I'm going to kind of, like this one is sort of sideways. I don't know. I think I kind of want that facing. No, I want it sideways too. Because I don't want it to be too bulky, you know. So we're laying it sideways here on the outside of the rose. And we're just going to push that through. And if you don't want to use the triangle bead there, you know, use a round. Okay. Wants to stabilize and wants to secure. And then we're just going to look at it here and we're going to decide. And see, I don't want this too close to that rose because now that rose isn't going to sit right. So did you see what I did there? I kind of just dropped it down so it kind of hangs. No, you probably didn't see what I did there because my fingers are in the way, but I'm just trying to work this so it just kind of hangs to the side here more so my rose can sit nice and flat on my wire, okay? I really do like the look of that. I think that's really cute. So if you want, you can do more loops here. Now I see that I have a little bit of wire showing here, which is fine. But I just kind of want to tweak that up so it doesn't have that big kink in it. And so it looks still more finished and more round like the other beads. So I'm just taking my tweezer pliers in there and I'm just tweaking that, okay guys? So that gives you the basis of it. Again, if you want to put more swirls, more loops, whatever you want to do, you can certainly do that. So basically we're just going to end this here and then put our rose drop on. And I'm just going to wrap this around in between where the rose is and this other rondelle a couple times. And then I'm going to bring it around the back and I'm going to snip it. And then press that end in, of course, because we do not want anybody getting snagged with their earrings, okay? So let's see here. So that is a really pretty earring right there, I think, guys. Really pretty. And we're going to come up here now to the top and we're going to snip this wire off because we don't need it anymore for the leverage. I'm going to move that wire out of here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to smush that end down there just to kind of get it flush. We're going to go back and kind of straighten our earring, tweak it a little bit. That got a little bit of a bend in it there, a little bit up here. I'm just kind of making it have a nice flow to it by kind of straightening those bumps out a little bit, guys. Okay, so that is so far what we have. I'm going to squeeze that in just a hair and see, and you can adjust it. So if you want it sitting right against like that, there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to do, I believe I'm just going to put a jump ring on this. I'm going to move this over just a smidge, guys, so I can make sure my rose will fit there. And I'm going to have to move this up just a smidge. You could leave these just like that if you wanted to, guys. That's just a beautiful, beautiful piece right there. And you do have the triangle hanging down here, which gives you a little bit of a drop there. If you want to attach your rose, you certainly can. I'm just going to attach it with a jump ring. And you can continue to tweak this if you want things to be higher or lower. You know, to a degree, you can certainly move your wire around. And I'm just getting a jump ring here. I'm going to open it from front to back. And I'm going to hook this into my rose and then hook it onto my wire. And let's see how it's sitting. We may need to do some adjustments, but I'm just taking that back and forth to get that to close, guys. Don't ever press in. Okay. That gives us our little rose, but you can see now a triangle is definitely in the way. As cute as it looks, if I want to dangle on this, I'm going to have to adjust my piece. So I'm going to manhandle this and just kind of try to move everything up a smidge without ruining it. And I'm just pulling that up. I'm kind of distorting my German wire right now, but we can put that right back. And then let's swing our rose back around and see, is that where we want it? It needs to move up just a hair more. And again, you don't have to put the rose on. I just thought it would look super cool. And get that back around there. And you could always even do something like that too, guys. You could have it hanging up here if you want something to be, you know, it would be definitely a larger earring, but you could do where it was on the side. You could do hang it from the center. There's a lot of things you could do with it. But there you go. That's much better hanging, much nicer. Beautiful, beautiful little earring, isn't it? I'm really happy with it. But just a beautiful, simple frame there using your German wire. And I'm going to put an ear wire on here for you guys. And I'm going to tweak the top because I want it to kind of sit toward the middle of the earring. So everything's hanging very beautifully and elegantly. And I want my loop tweaked again. And you can just keep working with it, guys. And just keep working with the design until you get what you want. I'm going to lay this here. And we are going to put on an ear wire and take a really good look at this once we're done here. Let's just grab an ear wire. And simply, we're just going to make sure that this loop is closed at the top. You want to rock it back and forth, front to back, until you get it nice and tight against the other wire, okay? and then you're just going to, excuse me, open your jump ring, or open your ear wire, and place your ear wire into that loop and close. And there you have, I mean, that is a statement piece. And again, guys, adjust to your likes. Use bigger, smaller beads, use a bigger, smaller frame. This is just your basics, and this, you know, you do you, guys. But I'm really thrilled with how this came out, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was super fun to make. And as always, my affiliate links are in the description box. If you want to visit Jessie James Beads or any of my other affiliates, they are down there. I would appreciate if you do decide to purchase that you would use those. It does not cost you anything extra, and it just helps me out. So much appreciated. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.